Dubai is a city of dazzling lights and towering buildings. It reaches for the sky. But just beyond this modern marvel lies another world, a world of ancient sand and endless horizons. The desert. It calls to you with a quiet magic. I had always dreamt of it. The thought of the vast golden dunes under a brilliant blue sky was simply thrilling. It felt like stepping into a storybook, a place where adventure was waiting just over the next sandy peak. The air itself feels different out here, cleaner and filled with a sense of immense space and timeless possibility. Getting ready for a desert adventure is terribly exciting. You leave the city's hustle and bustle far behind. The tall buildings shrink in the distance. Suddenly, you are surrounded by nothing but sand. The colors are extraordinary. Not just one shade of gold, but 100. There are ochres, ambers, and soft pale yellows. You wear light, flowing clothes to stay cool. A scarf, or a gutra as the locals call it, is essential. It protects you from the sun and the swirling sand. It also makes you feel like a proper desert explorer, ready for whatever comes your way. As we arrived at the camp, the silence was the first thing I noticed. It wasn't an empty silence. It was a peaceful, living quiet. It was broken only by the soft whisper of the wind. The dunes stretched out before us like giant sleeping creatures. They were perfectly sculpted by the breeze, with sharp ridges and soft curves. The sheer scale of it all is breathtaking. You feel very small, but in a rather wonderful way. It reminds you of the power and beauty of nature, a force that has been shaping this landscape for thousands and thousands of years. The anticipation builds as you see them. The camels, they are waiting patiently, resting on the sand. They look so calm and dignified. These are the creatures that have carried people across these very sands for centuries. There is a deep history in their gentle eyes. Our guides, with their warm smiles and traditional robes, greeted us. They have a special connection with this land and its animals. You can see the respect they have for the desert. They made us feel instantly welcome, as if we were old friends being invited into their magnificent sandy home. Meeting my camel for the first time was a moment I shall never forget. He was a magnificent creature with long eyelashes and a rather thoughtful expression. The guides showed me how to approach him calmly. They have names for each one and speak to them in soft, murmuring tones. There's a wonderful sense of trust between man and beast. I was helped onto the saddle, which was surprisingly comfortable, decorated with colorful blankets and tassels. It felt very high up once I was seated. I held on tightly, my heart thumping with a mixture of nerves and pure, unadulterated joy. The moment the camel stands up is quite an experience. It is not one smooth movement, but two. First, the back legs straighten and you are tilted forward quite dramatically. You feel you might just slide off over its head, but you hold on. Then, with a graceful lurch, the front legs rise and you are level again. Suddenly, you are high above the ground. You can see for miles and miles. The world looks completely different from this new vantage point. The view over the dunes is simply spectacular, and you feel a wonderful sense of elevation and freedom. Our guide led the way, and my camel fell into line with the others. A caravan was formed. We moved in single file, creating a slow, rhythmic procession across the sand. The movement is a gentle sway from side to side. It is like being on a boat, rocking on a calm sea. This is why they are called ships of the desert, and it makes perfect sense. You quickly get used to the rhythm. It is incredibly relaxing. You just surrender to the gentle motion and let the camel do all the work, carrying you deeper into the heart of the desert. The guides walked alongside us, sharing stories and pointing out interesting things. They showed us tiny tracks in the sand, left by desert creatures. They explained how they navigate using the sun and the stars. Their knowledge of this environment is immense, passed down through many generations. They live in harmony with the desert, understanding its secrets and its moods. It was fascinating to listen to them. Their connection to this place was so clear, and it made the entire experience feel much more authentic and meaningful. It was not just a ride, it was a lesson in culture and survival. As we journeyed on, the world slowed down to the camel's pace. The only sounds were the soft padding of their feet on the sand and the gentle creak of the leather saddles. It was wonderfully meditative. You start to notice the small details. The way the wind creates tiny ripples on the surface of the dunes, like water. The different colors of the sand as the sun moves across the sky. The stark, beautiful shapes of the occasional desert plant, surviving against all odds. It is a sensory experience that fills you with a deep sense of peace and tranquility. The view from atop the camel is simply mesmerizing. You are part of a flowing, moving landscape. The dunes rise and fall around you in gentle waves of sand. In the distance, the horizon seems to shimmer in the heat. There are no roads, no buildings, no signs of the modern world. It feels as if you have traveled back in time. You can easily imagine ancient traders and Bedouin families making this very same journey centuries ago. You are following in their footsteps, seeing the desert just as they would have seen it, in all its raw and unspoiled glory. The sun began to set, and this is when the desert truly reveals its magic. The sky transformed into a canvas of incredible colors. Fiery oranges, soft pinks, and deep purples blended together. The setting sun cast long, dramatic shadows across the dunes, highlighting their shapes and textures. It was one of the most beautiful sunsets I have ever witnessed. The air grew cooler. A profound stillness settled over the landscape. We paused our journey to simply watch the spectacle, and it felt as though the entire desert was holding its breath. During this magical hour, our guides shared more about their lives. They spoke of their families and their traditions. They have a deep respect for the camel, which has been central to their survival for so long. The camel provided transport, milk, wool, and companionship. It is more than just an animal, it is a cherished member of the family and a symbol of their heritage. Listening to their stories under that glorious sky, I felt a real connection to them and their culture. It was a privilege to be welcomed into their world for a short while. This camel ride was so much more than just an activity. It was a connection to history, to nature, and to the wonderful people of the desert. In our fast-paced world, it is rare to experience something so simple and yet so profound. The gentle rhythm of the camel's walk forces you to slow down and appreciate the present moment. It allows you to see the world from a different perspective, both literally and figuratively. It is an adventure that touches your soul and leaves you with a feeling of immense gratitude for the beauty that surrounds us. The bond you feel with your camel is also surprisingly strong. By the end of the ride, I felt a real affection for my gentle giant. He had carried me safely and patiently through his home. There is an unspoken communication, a quiet understanding that passes between you. The guide's relationship with their camels is a beautiful thing to witness. It is built on generations of mutual dependence and respect. This experience reminds you of the deep and ancient connection that can exist between humans and animals, a bond that is essential to our shared history on this planet. I cannot recommend this adventure enough. If you ever find yourself in Dubai, you must step out of the city and into the desert. Let a camel carry you across the golden sands. Watch the sun dip below the horizon, painting the sky with impossible colors. Listen to the stories of the guides and feel the peace of the vast open space. It is an experience that will stay with you long after you have returned home. It is a memory that will shine brightly, a reminder of the magic that waits to be discovered. So go on, be brave. Try it for yourself. Climb aboard your very own ship of the desert. Let it carry you on a journey not just across the dunes, but into the heart of a rich and wonderful culture. It is an experience that is gentle, beautiful, and utterly unforgettable. It will fill your heart with wonder and give you a story that you will be delighted to tell for years and years to come. The desert is calling, and a wonderful adventure is waiting for you there. You simply must answer.